Alright, welcome back. We're just about to get started with that matchup. Sorry if you noticed it said St. Clair was had 1-0. That was from the last match. A little bit of a slip up on my end. Or it could be me foreshadowing. We shall see as this match happens. But without further ado, let's get into the draft. Okay, so bands are on the way out as of this moment. So, of course, we got the chance to play Northwood yesterday in the group stage, but we'll have to see what they aim their bands at. Of course, they're going to take the Gator off the table, Renekton, and then, of course, Nidalee and Leona being taken away. So, Prez, Trick, and Miensfo all getting hit by these bans. And then Olaf, Galio, and Ashe being taken off the board here from St. Clair. First pick from Northwood going to be the Lucian. Been a champion that we've seen Yule get aggressive on. Could have possibly wanted to try it again. But Yule's champion efficiency so far in this series has been, or not in this series, but in this tournament overall, has been fantastic. But because you got rid of the Leona, you did not get rid of the Pantheon, and that's the original combo that they would have liked in this with this Callista. So with Miensfo's Pantheon in play, you can probably see him make plays very similar to that we had saw from the Leona. Northwood respond by picking up the Thresh, maybe something to try and have some engage, but at the same time a little bit of peeling power for his Lucian and whomever his other bot laner might be. If that Lucian isn't an AD carry, it's always possible that it is ADC Lucian down bot. And Echo getting through, and is going to be the first time we get to see him in this tournament, probably going towards either the mid lane or the jungle. I mean, at the same time, you could probably see him top lane as well. So I might get thrown off on this one. One more pick before you start banning again. A few seconds left. We're going to give Trick his Graves. So, been already warmed up on this champion so far here in day 2 of this tournament. Draft so far looking pretty solid for St. Clair. Not sure how comfortable Northwood will be in this situation, but we'll see as time goes on here. Zac going to get taken off the board, not going to allow that. No long range engage. And that's kind of funny. Of course, I was just saying how they took the Veigar off the table during their game during group stage. And it's actually forced a ban off of Yule. That's actually kind of funny. And Bendy was playing Mordekaiser last game as well. Camille going to be taken off the table as well. Frez is not going to get to try his lane bully hyper carry style, as both Renekton and Camille taken off the board for him. His aggressive top laners are gone. Ornn is going to be the pick from him, however. And to answer that, we're going to see the Malphite come out here from Northwood. Of course, one of the most straightforward engage champions that you can get. His ultimate being able to just charge right in there, knock everybody up into the sky. And then Ahri for the mid lane. First time we're going to see Ahri in this tournament, I do believe, which means this Echo is in fact in the jungle. So it's going to be Ben Sap playing that one. Of course, this does leave the mid lane still to be picked here from Yule. He has all the information he needs. Syndra is still on the board if he does want to pick that champion. Orianna as well. He's got so many options, and in fact, it is going to be the Orianna he does end up locking in. So this is a very scary team composition from St. Clair. Basically a little bit modified from what we saw them using earlier today, where Yule's obviously going to be doing his best to try and carry. The Kalista Pantheon is basically the same thing as the Kalista Leona. And if anything, they probably have more practice on Kalista Pantheon compared to Kalista Leona. I mean, we've seen Frez play this Ornn many times so far in the OPSE season, and then a couple times here in the tournament. And then, of course, Trick on Graves is already warmed up, ready to go. Just going to confirm where these champions are going, and we'll hop into game number 1 between Northwood and St. Clair College.
I promise. Chaos will follow.
I must not fall. Coward, may you die with your eyes closed.
Well, now I'm just mad.
Your commands tire me! I will wait for you to be better.
All right, so sure enough, we're going to see the champions kind of where we thought it was going. It's going to be Ben Sap playing the Echo in the jungle. Bendy up top with the Malphite. ET going to be playing Ari. Tilsap on Lucian, and Hiru on Thresh. Meanwhile, for St. Clair, we're going to have Frez on Ornn. Trick on Graves, Yule on Orianna, Lazi on Kalista, and Miansfo on Pantheon. So, multiple engaged sources here from St. Clair. You've got the Ornn, and you have the Pantheon that try and find themselves a pick. Trying to get a shockwave for Orianna, probably a little bit simpler. Just throw it on Pantheon as he goes in, or even better, have Kalista or have Lazi pop Kalista's ultimate, throw Pantheon into the middle of everybody, then throw the ball onto him. Of course, there's still lots of room for execution and execution flaws with that composition, but it can definitely do a boatload of damage if that does in fact go through. Then on the side of Northwood, it's basically you land a charm from E.T. Zari, you engage with the Malphite ult, or you get a hook from Hiru. Otherwise, I don't know what exactly you're going to be engaging with. Echo can still go in, but at the same time, like, it doesn't necessarily have the greatest of lockdown, unless he does get his stun, but it does take a little while to get moving before the stun actually comes out. It is very reactable, so might be a little bit hard to do it that way. That being said, if they pick off hooks and can keep finding themselves like 5v4 fights, they'd be in fantastic situations to take some objectives, take some towers and whatnot, and move forward. But it just seems that the St. Clair team overall is much more well-rounded, at least in my opinion. But of course, this is a best of 3 nonetheless, so we could see some adjustments from either team depending on how things go in this matchup. Looking forward to it though, because of course we played Northwood yesterday, and it wasn't exactly the closest of matches. But I mean, they beat Berlin, so They must have done some homework overnight before or in between the group stage and this championship Sunday. Quickly taking a look while we were in between matches, I was taking a look at some of the updated stats across this knockout phase so far. And when I looked at it, the top player KDAs right now in this league, it's all Saints players. Trick with a KDA of 36. Absolutely ridiculous. Followed up then by Yule and Lazzy at 10 and 8 respectively. And with KDAs like that, it also gives us the best top team KDA. So across the entire team, the St. Clair Saints has a KDA of 6.9. I'm not making this up. Nice. But doing fantastic. But in second, of course, is actually Northwood with a 4.6. So both these teams looking to get aggressive. The most amount of kills so far in this tournament is actually not from either squad. Lazzy gets in second, however. He has 20 kills in his series so far in the bracket. But Mitch Fortune from Shawnee State has been the one in the lead there. And then for least deaths, this is the one that kind of interests me right now. Because Trick has died once so far in this Championship Sunday bracket. But second and third both go to Northwood University. Ghost Electricity, who was the mid laner for Northwood, is in third. And then ET got second. It's interesting. I was going to say, I felt like ET I didn't see yesterday. That explains why. It would have been with Ghost Electricity that we saw that matchup. They must have had time at least somewhat during these playoffs, but they're opting for ET right now. They very well might make the switch as this goes on. They very well can do that. I believe you can switch players off not mid-game, but mid-series. But without further ado, we can stop looking at me, and we can look as the game gets underway. St. Clair in the red, Northwood University in the blue. Game 1 underway of this semifinal.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And 3, 2, 1. Cheers, we started a game without a pause. All right, perfect.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Standard line of scrimmages across the river here for both teams as of this moment. Nobody looking to get aggressive. Just a matter of seeing where these junglers start. Right now, Echo, it's going to be Bensap, looking towards his blue, possibly. Trick on the red side of things. They very well might change that up. We do see Bensap teleporting out of here, so might be switching his ideas here. Sure enough, it looks like that's what he's going to be doing. Bensap coming down towards the red side. And actually, Trick's going to be switching it up as well. Going to be going to his blue side. So both bot laners are going to be assisting their jungler in their early camps. I think this is probably a little bit more critical for Lazzy and Mansfo because they want to get that level 2 faster. Of course, very similar to the Leona that we saw Mansfo pull out earlier. If you can get the quick level 2, that can turn into some early aggression in the lane. Hero and Tilsap can do it as well, but to, I think, a little bit lesser of an extent. And if both laners got there on time, this is going to be completely even so far. And you'll picking up where he left off, giving ET actually a little bit of a hard time every time he tries to go for a minion. Hitting him with that ball, of course. Attacking on damage, level 2 hits, and they're going to jump right onto Hiru. They're not going to opt for anything super aggressive. Actually, the hook does hit. Lazzy taking a good chunk of damage, but he still has the rend available. Forces the flash away. Lazzy going to try and run for the hills. Does he still have his flash? He's ignited. He's burning. And it's going to be first blood from Mansfo. He's going to be able to get himself a second one. Support Lazzy as Mansfo's turn the carry, apparently. Double kill bot lane. They were pretty dead set on trying to get Lassie to the point where they got themselves out of position. And once again, Mansfo may be the support, but you still can't let him just like wail away on you early. And he really makes the Northwood bot lane pay. Meanwhile, they baited out the jungler. Lassie getting taken down by Ben Sap, and actually it's not going to be a bait. He's just going to come down and get the kill. So Lassie, in a fashion that we've seen maybe too often here on the Saint stream, getting baited out and overstaying his welcome a little bit. And Ben Zap now going towards the mid lane, but Yule is on top of this, going to be putting himself in a safe position. Trick wasn't too far away if need be. Actually, Trick has the ward. He's going to be able to try and steal this blue buff. In fact, he's going to be able to. That is going to gimp Ben Zap pretty badly here while he tries to clear this jungle. Meanwhile, Frez just absolutely destroying Bendy here in this top lane battle. Malphite, of course, is a little bit mana hungry early, to say the least, and doesn't exactly have the most high damaging abilities. Does not like trading. If he can sit there and poke, he's probably okay with that. Almost there. Frez trying to get one more extra shot, but he's going to get a turret shot for his troubles. Hiru came from bot lane to try and make the gank onto Yule. Yule's going to be able to flash that aside. And now this means that Tilsap has to stay by his turret, as otherwise he would have been jumped on. Ben Sap all the way up top. It's going to be Frez just going for the engage, but Trick is nearby. Frez is going to take care of Bendy. Ben Sap is going to be forced to flash away. Right now, Trick just matching the gank opportunity there from Ben Zap's Echo. Exactly what he needs to be doing. If that Echo does get the opportunity to start snowballing, it could very well be scary. But so far, other than the time he went down bot to kill Lassie when he got a little bit over aggressive, it's basically been shut down. Okay, hello there, as Bendy face checks Trick, and that ward that he had just purchased goes to waste. And now Bendy's got to be careful again. No flash on that Malphite means he's not going anywhere. Here we're going to try and zone away Lassie, but then here comes Mansfo. Are they going to try and jump on him? No, they are not. Lassie ahead quite a bit here in this bot lane in regards to CS already, and it's only 5 minutes 30 seconds in. Giru looking to try and get aggressive with the raw hook, not going to find its mark. Might be the St. Clair's opportunity to try and strike if they do please. Up in this top lane, once again, Frez really making Bendy's life difficult. Hits level 6, Ornhorn right away, knocks him up to the skies. Lots of damage coming out here, and he's going to be able to get the solo kill by getting that extra advantage via the level. Lassie tries the juke, and it is absolutely red. That flash was stopped in its tracks. Huge play there from Haru. Yes, Tilsap might have landed the killing blow, but that was some ultimate support plays right there from Haru's Thresh. So Lassie getting shut down twice and then not being the one actually getting those kills, kind of slowing him down a little bit. Yes, he's got the 2 assists, but it's not as good of a situation as it could be. Trick and Mansfo thinking about what to do. They're probably going to just give this dragon away, as nobody's looking in their position to try and contest. Lassie's just about to get back to lane, but yeah, sure enough, that Wind Drake is going to go over to Northwood. Kill-wise and gold-wise, they are behind, but at least in one regard, at least in terms of Drakes, they have taken the lead in that regard. And I feel like, at least personally, I feel like Northwood's kind of gimped themselves with this team composition. In terms of scaling, the longer this game goes, it could be a struggle. Mansfo, again, Hiru with the hook read, thinking that he was going to juke back. And it was absolutely the right call. Trick is debating on doing this. Lassie's taking a lot of heat, however. Can they actually make this turnaround happen? Not 100% sure. It looks like they're going to be going back. Trick, wisely, not trying to turn that into a 2v3 fight. Is just going to back aside. Lassie getting aggressive. This could be the opportunity. And sure enough, rents him away. Now Trick doesn't mind trying to play. It's a bit more of an even playing field. Bensap's already halfway across his jungle, and they're able to finally get Lazzy on the board, picking up a kill. Yeah, I feel like the later this game goes on, it's going to be worse and worse here for Northwood. Their composition, like, Lucian is still, like, decent as the game goes on, but he isn't a hyper carry by any means. Lazzy will definitely hurt more as this goes on. And then the only one who, like, really doesn't scale whatsoever is Mansfo's Pantheon, but he's just the stun bot nonetheless. Shockwave coming out in the mid lane here. St. Clair getting kind of tied up. That's going to be some big damage coming out here from ET. Takes down Yule. And it's going to be one more. Bensap going to find Mansfo. I don't know what the heck happened in the jungle there, but St. Clair just got caught at the point where both of Echo and ET were able to get a bunch of AoE damage on there, while Hero just held them in place. Solid job there. Now they're going to be able to shove this right to turret. Considering that Yule was winning this lane, ET definitely needed that. Trick is apparently not a fan of K-pop. Yeah, no Dragon on the board. The next objective would be this Nevermind. It's the Rift Herald is going to be picked up here by Bensap. Just snags it all by himself. Was not quite spotted out, so expect to see that used a little bit later. St. Clair's lead that they did have is definitely starting to dwindle. Within 1.5 thousand. I'll have to see what is up next here for this team. Both objectives off the board. Do they want to try and push a turret in somewhere, or are they just okay with farming up? Right now, Hero and Tilsap kind of forced back to their turret. They can't really take this. Trick is down there as well, expecting that maybe Sap is nearby, but that's actually not the case. At least we know that's not the case anyway. They may be able to try and push this for some plating to compensate. I don't think the Northwood bot lane know that Trick is there. Oh, they might know now. There was some pings down towards them. Not sure if Trick was spotted out, but this could be messy. Tilsap is caught all by his lonesome, though, however. It's going to be a lot of damage coming out the shield from Hiru. Going to keep him alive as we now see Bensap charging in. Trick taking some heat. Same with Lazzy. Lazzy goes down quick. Trick goes down as well. Double kill to Bensap. And Mansfo trying to dodge out the charm is going to be successful, but it was still too little too late. ET finding a kill as well. Triple kill going over to Northwood, which is going to give him the lead in this game. Or for the briefest of moments, but they've basically brought this even now. And now that Shelly's coming into play, you can expect that Northwood will have this lead again. All sorts of plates coming out here for Northwood, as we can see their gold lead now start to get spiking to about 700 now. A good momentum swing for them. A lot of these fights just did not go in their favor. Bendy is going to get engaged upon. Frez going to try and make the Ornhorn work. Barely going to get a piece of him. Not enough to take him down. Meanwhile, the Dragon was on the minds here of Northwood. Did they overextend themselves? Here comes a shockwave right onto a stopwatch Kiru. Not going to be what you wanted if you were Yule. Frez makes his way down. Is going to be right on top of ET. This is a very awkward and spread out fight. The Dragon is still being tried to be secured by Trick. Both junglers have their smites available. Bensap's still here. They land onto Mansfo, so that's going to be a smite fight, and it's going over to Trick. So the second dragon of the game is going to be in the hands of St. Clair, tying this up at a dragon apiece. And then because Frez went for the aggressive play in the top lane, he did not have that Ornhorn for that dragon fight. It very well could have been a factor had he essentially left Bendy alone, but at the same time, since Bendy had no health, he didn't bother joining the fight. So, I guess it is what it is there, as Bendy's going to be able to get himself a turret plate. Some additional gold in his pocket. Then it's just back to farming for a bit. Both of these teams have been fantastic in regards to constantly having objectives taken down. In fact, that's going to be the bot turret down here with Northwood taking that one. So they're going to continue to grow this lead very nicely so far. Now they're the ones about 1.5k ahead in this situation. Fred's going to try and tie that up a little bit via another turret plate. There's a teleport coming down from Bendy, and it's actually right on top of Lassie. Can he get out of dodge? Possibly not. The culling coming through, adding a ton of extra damage here. And Lassie's going to get destroyed as Bendy takes him down. ET, nearly find man's foe. You'll get the kill? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Hello, Bendy! Comes out of nowhere with the unstoppable force, going to secure himself his second kill of this fight. Nearly go down, but again, Yule gets extremely aggressive, and he's going to pay for it. Some of these moves are not paying off here for St. Clair. 3 more players drop in some very awkward fights, and now Northwood are in control of this game. I can't even guarantee at this point, once it starts getting to team fight phases where it's a 5-on-5, if St. Clair is going to have that much better of a situation, because of course, yes, Frez has Horn, but at the same time you got to worry about Bendy's unstoppable force. It might play out just the same, and I think there's been enough eliminations in this game that there's enough gold in the right people's pocket to warrant St. Clair being a little bit nervous here. 4 kills, 4 assists on the side of Northwood. It's jungler Bensap already has some AP built up and good to go. Could very well explode onto Lassie if the opportunity presents itself. Especially when you have the burst damage of an Ahri and Lucian there to follow up as well. And I mean, Bendy's now got a Sheen as well, so he can pack a little bit of a punch as well. Maybe not against Frez. Frez is still a big boy, hanging up there so far flawless in this game. Currently 2-0-0. Hasn't necessarily been a part of any team fights, but it doesn't matter. He's been farming up very nicely in this top lane. Then Sap on the Echo moving towards the Rift Heralds. That's going to be picked up more than likely, as it's once again uncontested. And another turret goes down. That would have been the mid turret, as we do see Bendy using the unstoppable force to dodge the Horn. However, he's pretty hurt, but he cannot, or Frez cannot chase any further. There is reinforcements on the way, and wisely he's going to back off from that fight. He bent up in the mid lane, getting spot out, going to be eating a massive amount of damage from essentially just Lassie. Thankfully for him, if any other St. Clair members were on that fight, he would have been exploded and died. But 11-5 total right now in regards to the eliminations on the side of Northwood. Very scary right now for St. Clair. The lead that they did have in the early game has essentially completely flip-flopped. And with plays like this, it's no wonder why. Manso is about to go down as well. Bensap not going to let him survive. Going to just give him a little bit of a boop on the noggin, and there he goes. 5-0 currently onto Bensap. Rift Herald's coming to play in the mid lane as the jungler and mid laner decide to go for the dragon. There's absolutely no way that St. Clair can contest that Drake. Here comes Shelly, here to play. There goes the turret. There's some more gold. Just hopefully St. Clair can burst Shelly down before another shot on the turret, because now we're looking at inhibitor turrets, and that could be rough. Actually, do they see this in time? Trick going to get there just in time. Holy smokes, I'm surprised it took that long to take that Drake. And now, that could be a win condition here for St. Clair if they can get all the way up to souls on Dragon. There's a few times in this tournament so far, yesterday and today, where they've been able to essentially get the soul, and there was no way that they were stopped. Just too much of a power-up from the Dragons. And then no fight seemed like really close after that. But at the same time, this is finally the closest match that we've seen here today. Like the biggest challenge that St. Clair has had in the tournament today anyway. Shawnee State, of course, they were a tough squad, and I think there's a reason why they're on the other side of the semifinal. If they're not on the other side of the semifinal, I'd be absolutely flabbergasted. What is today? So yeah, apparently, never mind. Shawnee did not even make it into the semifinals here. They were actually taken down by Marian University. This has been a weird tournament, to say the least, but a weird in the best way possible. Definitely makes for some entertaining storylines and matchups. As Baron will be spawning very, very shortly, within 30 seconds. No dragons yet available. Some vision coming out currently for Northwood University, as they should. Bendy split pushing this bot side, has teleport available, so he can make it back to his team if something does break out. And of course, with an alt like Unstoppable Force, he can dash a pretty good distance to get himself into the fight and make himself a threat. And just continuing to clear out some vision for the meantime. St. Clair just trying to ramp up, trying to farm up as best as possible without putting themselves in danger. Yule's got to be careful, though. And Sap is on his way. And he does have Bendy there with them. Unstoppable Force does not hit its mark. The flash is a little bit off, but it does not matter. Ben Sap with the rewind is going to get himself out of dodge. And that's going to be a nice, quick and easy kill. Yule definitely having a rough start. But one person who's definitely not having a rough time right now is Hiru. He has been setting up so many kills so far for this Northwood University squad, and has been making some killer plays with that hook specifically and the flay. Prez, Trick, and the rest of the St. Clair squad all going down to the bot lane. They may be looking for a fight. ET is currently all the way up top, has teleport, so can come back in the meantime, but again, also with an ultimate that has dashes, can get into a fight extremely quickly and make herself a threat. So, oddly enough, this team fight composition coming out from Northwood is starting to make sense to me a little bit more, with having two split pushing threats that have teleport, who can still join the fight, and have an ultimate that can get them into the fight, even if they have to teleport maybe not directly into the battle itself. It makes sense, and it isn't even necessarily, like, we haven't had ourselves a full-blown team fight, really. It's been just pick after pick after pick, with Northwood, for the most part, always getting the best of St. Clair. Till Sap going to face check onto Trick. Here comes the stun, though, coming out from ET. Going to go aside. Going to bring Bendy up, as Baron is a possible threat. And the ulti was used by ET as well. Gonna have to burn that out. So in theory, this would be St. Clair's chance to strike with an ultimate down. But I mean, if they perform, or if they execute it the wrong way, it could still be devastating, even if it is just Ben Sap, Till Sap, and Bendy who dive in with Hiru holding people into place. Trick might have been baiting out the Baron, but instead he's just going to bait out some of his health pool, as Northwood not going to fall for that one. Yule's positioning is going to hurt him if he's not too careful. Going to blast himself over the wall. And it might be time for a 5-on-5. Dragon is about to get underway. St. Clair definitely want it. They want to push for the soul. But Bensap is already there, already getting it started. Ornhorn coming through. Is going to find contact, actually. It's going to hit ET. But here comes the hook. Does not find his mark. Mansfo leading the charge. That shield just eating up so much damage. Lassie almost frontlining it here, but he does have Mansfo here now as well. Mansfo gets extremely low. Bendy's going to try for the unstoppable force, but it's going to miss its mark completely. The flash away from St. Clair was on point. ET is going to take some decent damage. Charmed aside at the wrong moment, though. Frez barely going to miss out on that one. ET can still fight from the sidelines if she is in range. Not going to be the case, however. Northwood currently running for the hills. St. Clair going to think about the Dragon. As soon as they do, Bensap turns the team around, says, no, hang on, we can still get this. I have Smite. So we could have ourselves a 50-50 Smite fight if they aren't careful. Frez moves forward. The hook is going to land on the Yule. That's the kind of target that they wanted. Yule doesn't even have any mana anyway. This is kind of scary. Trick is going to secure the Dragon, so it's still going to be Dragon number 3 going over to St. Clair College, but it's going to cost them some lives as Frez, Lazzy, and Miansfo all drop. Try and get that Dragon. Now on the follow-up, what kind of damage can Northwood do while St. Clair is down and out? Still 7 seconds on Miansfo, and at the latest of 25 seconds now onto Frez. What do they want to try and do? There are a couple hurt health bars on the side of Northwood, but they aren't too bad, to be completely honest. They're just going to steal some of St. Clair's jungle and probably start clearing out some vision near that Baron pit. So Northwood going to regroup, and they are going to come back extremely well armed and ready. The Lucian of Tilsap going to be hitting like a truck. Same with Bensap. Same with ET as well. And even Kiru has gotten enough items to the point where he's actually a relatively tanky Thresh. And then Bendy, quite tanky as well. Sunfire Cape, Iceborne Gauntlet, has the vest as well. It's going to be difficult for St. Clair to burst one of these players down. Lassie does have at least the Blade of the Rune King. And I'll have to see Bensap going to rewind, get himself out of dodge. Of course, Echo's ultimate, if you think similarly to how Tracer works in Overwatch, being able to zip yourself to where you were about 4 seconds ago. The only difference is when you come out of the teleport, you do some damage. Good shutdown here. That is a huge shot onto Tilsap. Bendy with the unstoppable force, missing its mark again. Ornhorn knocking Bendy up. And there is some shutdown gold being spilled here. Lazzy gets absolutely exploded, but Bensap does not have his ultimate. And he's going to get caught in the smoke screen. Going to allow Trick to finish him off. Kiru being chased down. The cage comes out, but does not matter. Frez going to get this, and that engage was absolutely terrible for Northwood. St. Clair finding the opportunity to possibly blow a hole in this attack from Northwood and push themselves forward to evening this up and maybe getting themselves a Baron power play out of this, as ET is the only one available. No teleport, no ultimate, not going to get there in time. This Baron going over to 4 of the 5 members of St. Clair. And that was absolutely fantastic. Being able to blow Bensap's rewinds before that fight actually begun was definitely huge in this case. And it's like, okay, yes, sure, you blew up Lassie, but everybody else was already in position to do their damage. It was Yule who found the shockwave that did collect Tilsap as well. But the AD carry wasn't even able to like hover around the outside and just chop away at the health bars. St. Clair definitely have some options here, especially if that dragon comes up. The next time it does, it will be soul point for them. And a lot of shutdowns were also given out. The only one that was not taken was the shutdown from ET's Ari, as ET was able to just use the ulti to get out of dodge once things started going sour. Some of these buffed up items from Ornn are also starting to take effect as well. We do see the buffed up Blade of the Ruined King coming out for Kalista. Buffed up Sunfire Cape and something else beside him as well. So later this goes on, Frez is going to be finding more and more value for his team via these buffed items. And it looks like St. Clair is kind of looking for a fight, but I hope that's not the case. Yule is not there just yet. They definitely need to group up as 5. Yule's going to be teleporting down to the bot lane, so he's going to be somewhat close by, but some of the members of St. Clair are very peculiar positions. Trick going to do a little bit of extra poke. Miansfo thinking about the jump. It's going to blow a lot of cooldowns on the side of Northwood, actually. If they go for a re-engage, this might be the opportunity to do so. And then a blue team turret actually went down in the meantime. That was just strictly to minions. So small victories here for St. Clair the longer this fight goes on. And with the Dragon half down, if they want this soul, they need to go in now. Lassie is going to dodge the hook. Here comes the Ornn Horn, not going to find his mark. Shockwave onto 2, including Bensap, but the rewind right onto Yule is going to blow him up. It's going to be up to Lassie to carry the damage in this fight. Trick is actually going to do some good damage as well. Echo going to find himself a double. Kalista still going in strong. Lassie might be getting a little bit over-aggressive, though. Trick being down and Bensap being down means Dragon might be off the table here right now. Frez really wants to push this. There are so many low health bars, but Lassie is so hurt himself as well. Do they attempt the Dragon? They're thinking about it, but Bendy, Tilsap, they're still here. ET is running for the base, but there might be just enough resistance that this Dragon fight gets a little bit prolonged. Frez is tanking, but here comes the teleport from ET. Do you want to deal with this Ari right now? I don't think you want to. It's going to dodge the taunt, but this Dragon's going to be going over to Northwood. They're going to be able to hang on just a little bit longer here. Yeah, the rewind's coming out from Bensap's Echo is, of course, right on top of Yule. Granted, the Shockwave combo still did go off across 2 members, but Bensap, with the rewind, he gets some health back as well. So, was able to heal back up to about 3/4 HP, finish off Yule, and that's a good chunk of damage gone in that case there for the St. Clair team fight. And there was just enough tank and Bendy and just enough damage to hang on. Meanwhile, okay, now we finally got that shutdown. Yule's just going to straight up solo out ET. Some more excellent goals here inside of the pockets of Yule. Been a bit of a slower game for Yule in regards to eliminations, but has at least been doing a fair job farming. And then Trick is just going to have his back turned to the entire squad of Northwood and get himself blown up for free, which is now going to threaten a jungle objective if one comes up. However, Baron is still off the table. Drew moving forward. Lassie's kind of cut off here. Might be an awkward spot. Is going to be able to dodge the hook, so they should be able to get out of dodge just fine. Bot turret going to fall. So St. Clair's starting to catch up in regards to some of these turret objectives. Mid lane still standing tall, but that's the only one untouched so far. And then Northwood goes top, going to find one for themselves. Answer turret for turret right back. This game is now within 1.5. Once again, team fight. Bensap getting himself caught out. Ornhorn going to hit him on the way back. But Tilsap out of position, going to get caught by Yule. 80 carry down. Bendy looking for his opportunity to strike. You do not want to group up versus this Malphite. He can turn it around, but in fact, he's going to use that Unstoppable Force to make sure that he gets out without any consequence, as his teammates were not nearby to try and turn that. 4v5 opportunity here for St. Clair if they want to try and push this mid lane down, as there's no additional dragons or heralds or barons or anything like that happening as of this moment. Of course, it's too late for a herald. I'd be surprised to see Shelly show up right now. And they're going to focus in on that mid turret. As we see Baron getting ready to slither in right here, right now. They're going to ward up and get ready for a fight, more than likely, right in front of Baron. They're actually going to start this thing right away. Mansfo going to be tanking the shots while everybody else tries to do the damage. But Hiru is wise to this. Lazzie's got to watch himself. It's going to be a little bit reliant on him. The Baron is going to be taken. It's going to be taken by Yule, actually. And the fight's going to continue right afterwards. ET taken off the board right away. So does Bendy. Frez leading the charge here. Hiru is not long for this world. Going to get chopped down. And Snap has no answer except to try and push towards mid. Sinclair going to go back and deal with the minions that are pushing on that doorstep, and then get ready for possibly either a dragon or start shoving down a lane. It looks like the mid lane turret is what's being pinged out, while Mansfo is just going to try and clear up some vision at the same time. Going to try and shove all the way to the inhibitor. They still have about 16 seconds before the 5-on-5 is available. The calling barely doing anything to Frez. He is a tanky guy. We see Mansfo getting aggressive. I'm not sure what this tower dive is, but Trick is just eating it. It's going to be the rewinds coming out from Bensnap, going to avoid the shockwave. So the shockwave gets nothing, but they do still find Tilsap in the meantime. 4v5 continues here as St. Clair is now on the inhibitor turret. They have to respect the stun here from Bensap. Not going to find its mark. Unstoppable Force is available if Bendy wants to try and pull the trigger. 4v5, not going to be the case. Inhibitor does drop. Mansfo does his best to zone out and is going to get out with his life. And Dragon's just around the corner once again. So Soul Point for St. Clair if they can secure this 4th Dragon and give themselves even more crazy buffs due to that Dragon. See, Hiru and Bensap know that this is exactly the kind of play that St. Clair is going to want to go for. Going to be a big objective up next. Going to try and get as much vision as possible as the 3rd Mountain Drake finds its way into the nest. And St. Clair are going to start it. They do have a lot of damage, so they can take care of this thing pretty quickly. Bendy taking a little bit of harassment before the fight gets started. St. Clair need to try and split. They cannot get caught up by Bendy, but if you knock up Bendy, that might be all right. And Callista, it's going to be Lassie who secures the soul. So St. Clair all buffed up, ready to go, and this buff does not go away. And this one so far looking like a St. Clair fight as Echo finally drops. Bensap goes down, and there's minions on the Nexus turrets. Frez going to teleport right in, cut off any sort of backing attempts here. St. Clair just can't get too bloodthirsty here for its Tilsap. They're just going to allow Mansfo to go at it, which means Frez and the rest of the St. Clair squad are going to be able to go onto these Nexus turrets. Frez eating up all of the damage, all of the utility, as the rest of St. Clair shows up. There goes Hiru, and now St. Clair in position to take care of this Nexus. So many long death timers. St. Clair going to win this first game versus Northwood. It looked kind of scary at first, but they make it work. Picking up where they left off yesterday with some different picks, and to be honest, it looked like Northwood was going to turn that around big time. But somehow, St. Clair hanging on for dear life and turning that one around. A couple team fights go their way, and they make it happen. Some standouts, of course, in that fight, in that game in general. Bensap had a fantastic early game, was absolutely everywhere. 10 kills on the game, 3 deaths, 7 assists. Could not make it happen. Hiru was absolute madman in setting up the plays for the rest of the Northwood squad. But unfortunately, I think just tactically they got outplayed here today. Their ability to find these ganks and find these plays early were good. But as the game went on, I had mentioned that as it went on, felt like scaling was going to be a problem. I'm not 100% sure if that was exactly the case, but it kind of felt like it, to be honest. Then on the St. Clair side, nobody had a huge standout performance. Frez is probably the closest thing to a standout here with a 4, 1, and 11. Early, he did not leave that top lane, but he was eventually just too tanky. Actually, yeah, I'll give it to him. He was so tanky that these fights were able to happen properly. And even though, Yul and Lazzy were a little bit slow to start here in this game, they turned it around and were able to find the fights thanks to the peeling of Frez Mansfo and then the additional damage coming out from Trick. It was an overall interesting back and forth game. Game number 2 should be starting momentarily, actually within a minute or two. I'm going to take a quick coffee break, snag me a Timmy's, and then we'll get back for game number 2 between Northwood University and St. Clair College. Of course, match point St. Clair. And then make themselves get to the finals. We'll have to see.